Do you want to learn how to close more than $35 million in sales in real estate just from YouTube? Welcome to the Agent Advantage podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Harris. Today, we are going to be joined by Mark McDonough, a real estate expert, and has cemented himself as the face of Sacramento real estate by amassing more than 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Mark, thank you so much for joining us and inspiring us to have our first episode here.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. So to start off, please tell us, how did we get here? What has brought you to real estate? Because I know it's not a straight line because it isn't for anybody in this industry. So what has brought you here today?
Always loved real estate, but when you get into real estate, it's a little two-dimensional. You know what I mean? It seems all flashy and like selling sunset and everything too, but when you get into real estate, it can be very boring unless you bring on a fun aspect to it, which is like YouTube. So like 4 years ago, I started the channel. I've been in real estate for like 8 years, and it was up to the point of starting YouTube. It was okay. I liked real estate. I thought it was fun. I thought, meeting people was great. Handing people the keys was great. But there was a piece of my creative brain that wasn't really being utilized. And so this YouTube thing just made it so much fun. And you connect with people on a whole nother level. And, it just drives you, you know what I mean? So for me, it's been somewhat of a voyage to get where, or a journey to get where I'm at. But, for me, I love real estate, whereas before this channel, I liked real estate a lot, if that makes sense.
So real estate was just like an interest for you before, but now because you've found your creative niche, it's been something that you can thrive and love and enjoy doing as a career.
Oh my God. I mean, I've done everything. I love photography. I've like worked with, I was helping manage and book John Lee Hooker, Ben Harper. I was working in the tech industry during the dot-com era in San Francisco. I've taught at San Francisco State, Sacramento State, College of Alameda. I've done everything underneath the sun. But like with real estate, with the blend of what I'm doing with the YouTube stuff and with the blend of what I'm doing now, it's like I've never felt anything or been more at home in an industry ever.
How many years have you been selling real estate now?
8 years, but I mean, as many agents will know, 8 years feels like a lifetime when you're in real estate because you got transactions happening, and it's just you just don't know world outside of real estate. It's just fun, but kind of scary at the same
Did you,
time.
from the get-go, were you already like producing YouTube, or what drew you into this avenue where you started creating content and like fulfilling your creative side too while selling?
No, for about maybe 3.5 years, I was kind of sitting there and I was like doing the usual shtick, like you go into an agency or a brokerage, you get signed up, they promise you the world, oh my God, we got leads, we got training, come on aboard. Then they link you up with, your mentor, and your mentor does stuff really old school, sticking signs, paying Zillow, getting leads, cold calling, door knocking. And, it was okay. I mean, I was good at it. I was good at cold calling and all that stuff too. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, is this it? This is going to be it for me. This is it. And then, I loved cameras. I've been on camera for a long, long time doing other stuff, videos. And I was like, you kind of have to, like in real estate, even the youngins like you who get in here, a lot of the old school people try to like drive you into old school methods of doing stuff. They put blinders on you. They convince you that door knocking, cold calling is the only way that you're going to succeed in the business. And you're talking about people that have like thousands of followers on Instagram, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to go door knock." And it's just like, it's just, the superpower is kind of thrown out the window. And for me, I was like, man, I love cameras. I'm good on camera. I know how to do everything like this. Like I'm seeing people in markets like Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Chicago kill it with YouTube. Like, why wouldn't I do that? And that's where the whole seed of this thing whole came out.
It's almost like it would be a waste of your ability to connect with people to do it one by one, door knocking with all the old, like hard real estate skills. To not share that with, hundreds or thousands of people at a time would just be a waste of the skill that you spent so much time like building.
Yeah. I mean, and also too, I mean, a lot of these realtors, like you look at them and you're thinking, man, they're closing like 70 deals a year. They must be just rolling in it. They're happy. But a lot of these people have created these machines over time, cold calling machines, paying Zillow. A lot of people have invested in their business and they've been around for a long, long time. So to break into a market isn't an easy thing. But for Sacramento, a lot of the old school agents didn't invest in social media or whatever. They invested hard in print. They invested hard in like teams of people cold calling. If a listing was expiring, you'd get like 50, calls coming in. So they invested in these old school marketing techniques that are still successful during this day. But for me, I was like, you know what? Like I'm going to go around that and do something that's going to, kind of put myself. I wanted to do a shortcut that people weren't doing in Sacramento to get to where I needed to be. I didn't want to follow the people who had like, I mean, we're kids. I'm not even joking. There are top producers in Sacramento that spend maybe $50,000 a month on print, on Zillow, and whatnot. They've created these mass machines that the normal realtor that's come into real estate, they're going to get discouraged. And they're like, I don't know why this guy has so many listings or this woman has so many listings. I don't get it. It's because they've amassed these like media budgets and they've already put into the machine. And it's hard to compete with that. I saw it right away and I decided they're not doing YouTube, so jump in there.
It's kind of like you like decentralize it instead of going the mass, pay the billboards, do the newspapers. You kind of took control of it, which is, grassroots approach, like giving back to the people and decentralizing, which seems to be just like a common thing now. People want to decentralize and take control of it on their own. But when did you decide to just go all into this? You said YouTube is the main life source of your business. I'm sure it wasn't like that when you started. How did you get here where, you don't really focus on anything else?
I was doing already good in real estate. I was pulling in like good amount of money and everything too, but I just had that idea that I could do other stuff. And if I presented myself and I talked about real estate, that people would kind of take note of the fact that I knew more than the average realtor did about our market. And so that's kind of why I did the YouTube stuff. I wanted to get out there and showcase what I was about. I wanted to work with clients, but I want them to see what I was kind of all about. And, realtor it's hilarious. We all have our like, our business cards with our high school yearbook picture. And it's just like, you don't really know who you're working with. And I was like, I trusted myself. I said, I think I'm good at what I do. I think if I go on videos and don't do scripts, but just talk about the market, talk about what I've been dealing with, I think it will be a good blend for people out there to see who's authentically, how I am authentically, transparency and everything too. So for me, that's how I started my journey. And I took a lot of bumps along the way, like learning curve. Because here's the thing though, now the game's changed. You have courses, you have like people doing the whole like living in Sacramento, living in Portland, all this kind of stuff. I mean, the market is cold. So you have everyone jumping into YouTube out of kind of a desperation. I did it. I wasn't desperate. I just wanted to do YouTube. Like, so for me, my videos are a little bit less of like, please call me and work with me. I need you. It's more like, this is the market. This is who I am. If we connect, great. If we don't, find someone who you connect with, because this is a journey and you deserve that. And so for me, my channel came about, I was doing fine, but I just loved YouTube and I jumped into it. I didn't need to, because you know how it is in real estate. When the market's cold, every realtor and their mother is like out there doing marketing techniques, signing up for every lead source they can possibly do. And then when the market picks up, they all abandon all that stuff and they just focus on the deals ahead of themselves. My thing was consistency, quality, progress, and not perfection. And that's how kind of I've grown my channel.
How did you overcome like the fear of getting started and obviously being super vulnerable? You put out a lot of content and there's no way with that total volume that you were perfect from the get-go. I know even today for me to start this podcast and to get ready to have this conversation, it took a lot for me to overcome. So how did you confront the nervousness or feeling of, okay, what if this isn't good enough, to be able to produce on such a high level all the content that you come out with?
I studied it. One of the things that I've always been good at is basically re-engineering things, and like, I don't do what normal people do. Like someone will be like, oh yeah, I signed up with this real estate course to do videos and they told me to do 10 things. I've never signed up with a real estate course. I've never like done any of that stuff. I just don't do that. I don't do scripts. I'm very authentic about it.
This is just you.
I did. Yeah, that's it, man. Dark circles, tired sometimes, like sick sometimes. I mean, it's just what it is. But for me, I kind of stayed away from like the stuff that people are doing, like as far as, hey guys, how's it going? All that stuff. And I kind of was like, look, market's not great right now for this. Market's great for this. So my thing was basically 100% authenticity And, I studied YouTube like it was a class, but I didn't do the usual stuff where I'm like, I'm studying, I go to this one channel and I subscribe to a course. I went to various other avenues, like people who had great, like, video creating channels, people who are doing other stuff. And I kind of incorporated some of the shots that they were doing into what I did. And so like I studied YouTube cameras, editing, LUTs, color grading, microphones. I studied all that stuff. You can see my stuff if you want to go see my stuff. Type in Sacramento real estate. You'll see there's a little Joe Rogan put in there. There's a little bit of like Anderson Cooper blended in there. There's a little here and there and there. So I studied aesthetically stuff that I really liked, and I incorporated it underneath the umbrella of like real estate. And it was authentically things that I was drawn to, which just made it really fun for me to do videos, because I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, this is me. This is good. This is who I am. I think right now in this day and age for real estate, everyone's getting sucked into these like generic kind of like living in Sacramento, living in Portland courses where you see them on cameras and they're like, they don't know what they're saying. They're reading off a script and there's no authenticity to it. Me, I don't do scripts. What you see is what you get. And I think hopefully content starts evolving a little bit more like that. But it's interesting though. So for me, that was kind of my journey,
Because it's just you on camera all the time, I'm sure that you're getting a sense of people out in public running into you and feeling as if you guys are already best friends because they've consumed hours upon hours of your content, getting to know you, and yet you've never talked to them before. What is that like when you're out in public and someone says like, oh, you've taught me so much about this area that I didn't even know. Like, it's so crazy. I feel like you're my best friend already. What's that experience like for you?
Here's the thing, man. I sometimes see like, like people who are like, oh, don't approach me and everything too. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it 100%. I say, look, if you take the time to watch my content, like, I think that's awesome. I think the idea for like humans in general is we all crave kind of affirmation. And the idea if someone comes up to me and goes, oh my God, I've seen your channel or this and that and everything too, man, I love it. I eat it up because I say to myself, like, it's almost more of like a no. Thank you for watching me for an hour. I mean, like, thank you. Thank you for watching my content. Like, thank you for watching what I do and finding it something that you actually kind of, and there's people who binge watch it and stuff too. And I'm like, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah,
So for
something
me,
you put hours of your time into, they finally appreciate it, makes it all worthwhile.
100%. So for me, I'm like, hey, whatever, how's it going? We talk and everything too. Usually happens like at least maybe like once every like 3 days. I bump into someone and it's like, I love it. I think it's great. I think the idea that like, I mean, that's why I created the content. You know what I mean? Like for
Yeah.
me to kind of put stuff out there. So for me, I love it. I think it's great. And I appreciate anyone who subscribes, watches. And if you ever see me in public, say hello. I'd love, love, love to meet you.
Have you felt like it's still a huge task to create the content, or you feel like you're more of in a flow now where it just comes naturally for you?
There are days where I'm like, like my brain has not gelled perfectly with my mouth, right? It's like there's it may be too much coffee or not enough coffee,
Oh,
but
I
I
get it.
definitely
Yeah.
have these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some days where like I'm in the car and I'm kind of thinking of my next video and I'm talking a little bit of how I would say it, and I'm like, man, I wish the camera would caught me right now. Oh my god, that was perfect. That was so great. And so there's some days I'm on, some days I'm off, some days, you know, I mean, it's hard to watch my own videos. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh man, I was just like, gosh, man, I was, especially like when I'm sick or something, or I have a sore throat. It's just not fun.
Yeah, and then you still have people come up and say it's such a great video, even though you didn't feel it was well. It still like
Oh
helped
yeah.
them or taught them.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though too, and the basis of the roots of my videos is that I look at my week because our team closes a lot of transactions. I'm always on the phone talking real estate, and then I just kind of do a rewind of my week. I'm like, okay, here's buyer sentiment. Why? Well, I mean, I talked to like 50 buyers this week, so let's figure out the buyer sentiment. And we went to a few listing appointments as well. So like, what is the general like I'm like the weather reporter. I'm like the reporter out there in the weather, and people are going like, "What's it like?" And I'm like, "Well, hurricane is not great. It's raining." Yeah. So for me, that's kind of how I look at it. I just do a rewind of my week, and that's kind of it. For a lot of people who are coming into the area, that's what they want. I mean, of course they want to know about the communities and areas and everything too, but as we all know, Sacramento changes so often. I mean, even videos I did a year ago, I look at them, I'm like, man, that is the wrong price point at this point. So I think the lives that I do are a little bit, I think the lives probably get the most traffic just because they're like real time, right? I mean, you know this, Thomas. I mean, the market has changed so much that like a video that, someone would do a year ago, I mean, it's totally like,
A video
not
you
even
did
relevant.
3 months ago could be completely wrong with the way the market has
Oh
turned
yeah.
over in spring. Rates are starting to adjust like crazy. I mean, it's a month by month, sometimes week by week on the area of how things are changing and converting. So I
Oh yeah.
definitely
And the
understand.
lives, well, the lives for me, like they're kind of a lot of people view live streams as channel killers because a lot of people are click through rates and like watch time, and they kind of drag channels down. My lives are different for me. My lives are some of the more popular videos I do just because people really want to get on there and ask questions. And they've kind of created this whole like kind of like weird thing where people are kind of waiting for me to go live and talk about the market. And
It's
so
like
it's
you're
weird.
doing
A
a
lot of
group
people,
buyer's consultation or like a market pulse. They're able to get you and you do a town hall. Everybody's asking you questions and they have like a weekly scheduled meeting where they get access to your brain and all the knowledge that you're privy to every week because you're dealing with so many people in the market.
yeah. And also, I mean, here's the thing though, too. I mean, people like I made a promise when I started these lives that I would show up every Monday and every Wednesday at 5:30. And unless it's a holiday, and I show up. And I think that like that says a lot about people in general. Like showing up, everyone assumes showing up is an easy thing to do, but there are a lot of realtors who have videos that stop showing up, and people who do. For me, I made a promise. I said, man, 5:30 Wednesdays, I'm going to come on. 5:30 on Monday, I'm going to be coming on, and I go for like an hour and 15 minutes. And don't get me wrong, I love doing it, but at the same time, like for me, I want them to know that like if they work with me, I'm going to give their working with them the same commitment that I give my show. Showing up at 5:30, doing a live every single week, twice a week, isn't an easy thing to do, especially when you're in real estate because you don't know when the calls are coming or everything too. But I do think that in real estate, a lot of people are so kind of jaded by the money that they don't realize the core fundamentals of like being like a professional in any business. It's about like if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And in
Right.
real estate, there's a lot of realtors who aren't like that. If the juice isn't worth the squeeze for them, they're gone. For me, I'm like, there's some days where it's like hot cameras, lights are coming down on me. Like, my kids are in the pool swimming, and I'm like, 5:30, we're going live. Why? Because if I say something, I'm going to do it. And I think there's just a lacking of that. So that's kind of, for me, the lives are the best thing.
Yeah, you found a way to demonstrate your reliability and consistency that they can trust you by just doing the lives yourself every Monday and Wednesday. You demonstrate to the client that they can trust you through the transaction. It's the biggest transaction they're likely are ever going to deal with in their entire life. So just keeping
Oh,
that
yeah.
small commitment demonstrates like a greater value to them, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And you see, it's funny though, because you see a lot of these realtors too who are coming out with these new channels, and nothing against them. I think going content is great, but they'll do these videos where they're kind of like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about Sacramento. And you see their eyes kind of wander over to a teleprompter to kind of read stuff a little bit too. And it's like, when you do a live video, you got no teleprompter, you got nothing. You're just like here, and then the questions start coming in. And that is like, honestly, that it's tough at times. I mean, people hit you with questions, hit you with areas, and you got to know what you're doing.
You have
Like so
nowhere to
for
hide.
me, nowhere to hide. People fire at them, boom, boom. Hey, what are you telling us? There's a place that we should buy. We shouldn't. And it's like, well, you know what? Here's the thing. Boom, 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 boom. So it's not a scripted video. It's not like one of those pretty videos and everything too. But people do see it for what it is. It's authentic. It's real. There's no weird like getting away from it. There's no fast cuts or anything too. It's
Right.
just it is what it is. And so I love that. You know what I mean?
If you could talk to agents that are getting in the business that are looking at your success in YouTube and how you've sold, more than 35 million home or 35 million in volume last year, like what is your tip to new agents to become successful that are just starting out in the business?
Shoot, I would say first of all, don't give away the phone. I mean, if you're working with a mentor who's telling you to cold call and to door knock and not focus on your social media, they're old school. And I would say that might not be the way for you. I mean, like, honestly, in Instagram, you can hit a million people before you even hit the first door. I'd say go with someone that basically knows how to foster and to help you kind of create a good brand around yourself around social media. If they don't, I'd say, you're going to be calling, you're going to get burnt out. I mean, the crazy part is a lot of people in real estate, like, don't drop out of real estate before they make their first transaction, because a lot of these mentors, a lot of these brokerages don't really understand the importance of social media. So I'd say find someone who gets what you're trying to do, and then as far as like social media goes, as far as videos, progress and not perfection, be consistent and up your quality of your thing every single time. Like for me, I look at my video, I say, these things I did right, these things I did wrong, every single video. And I try to make them better, try to make them better, try to make them better. And then just, and my brokerage is probably gonna hate me for this. Don't bleed for your brokerage. Like, create a brand around yourself. It's going to help you with job security in the future, because you're going to establish your name in this industry. And so, like, those would be the things. And also, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, pick the right brokerage, figure out who gets you, you know what I mean? And then just, I don't know, just go for it. But like I said, if you're thinking about jumping into the content game, which you should, consistency, quality, and just progress and not perfection, and just keep doing stuff, and don't try to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. If other people are having success with other videos, look at their videos and do them better. That's about it.
As someone that has done both sides, what have you felt is the difference that content has impacted on your business? Because you said you came up that traditional route, cold calling, door knocking, buying leads, kind of like the churn and burn of like always acquiring new clients the hard way, and sometimes even paying for it. Like, how has content amplified your business and taken you to a like completely different place than where you were before?
I think content allows you to be very authentic with people. I think in real estate, I think when you do leads, a lot of people think that you're the listing agent, like especially on Zillow, they're like, oh hey, like, so there's a little bit of like, I don't know if you want to call it shadiness or something. A lot of the leads, people don't want to be, I don't know how to describe it, but for me right now, the reason why I like YouTube stuff is because there's already a trust relationship there. People allow me to do my job and we're good. When I was doing Zillow and everything too, it just, the conversations were a little bit more like just kind of, hey, can I show you this house? Oh, hey, are you the listing agent? No, I'm not the listing agent, but I can show you this house. It just, there really wasn't that sense of starting off a relationship with clients on a good foot, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think referrals are a little bit different. A lot of people grew their business on referrals, which I think is awesome. And I think that we have that for the most part as well too with YouTube. But I think that like the buying leads, I hate the word lead. Lead is like, for me, when someone says, oh yeah, buying leads or leads, I got more leads this way, I just don't like the word. I think it just seems so, I don't even know how to describe
You're
it. It
like,
just
that's
doesn't seem
actually
like,
a client, that's a human, that's a home buyer. That's not just a lead that you paid
totally.
for.
Yeah, it's like a lead. Like on my channel, if people hit out, it's like they're friends. They're our audience. They're people that we just like revere. We're like, hey, thank you. What do you need?
Right.
But leads are a little bit more like, churn and burn. Hey, let's get the check and everything too. And that's just, I mean, I didn't feel that. I mean, I did real estate prior to YouTube that way, and it just didn't really make me feel like, it just made me feel like anyone could step in. Like, they called me, but they could have called five other people. It
Right.
just didn't make me feel really like yeah, I don't know how to describe it. The authenticity just wasn't really there. But now with YouTube, it's like people kind of get me. They know the type of realtor I am. We have a conversation. It's just a very positive conversation, and they're surprised that I answer the phone, and they're surprised, honestly, the authenticity and how I am is like on the phone is exactly how I'm on the videos, and it translates really, really nicely. So I like it. It makes me feel like a lot kind of better about what I do for a living, because they value what I'm doing instead of just looking on Zillow and saying, this guy.
Yeah. You have
That doesn't work
community
for
and
me.
connection with them. It's like they're actually getting
Oh
to know
yeah.
you and know, like you build a rapport and relationship before they even know you. It's not
Oh
just like a
yeah.
random person that said, hey, I want this house. Anybody can show it to me and sell it to me.
Oh yeah.
Off of that, though, AI is the new thing, and that is going to completely dehumanize all of it. We're just have robots. People think they're going to replace everybody in the transaction, whether it be mortgage brokers, loan officers, real estate agents. They think computers are going to take over. Do you think, one, is that feasible? And then two, are you using AI at all in your content creation?
Not really. I mean, like, let me think. I did a couple maybe like blogs just to test out the AI thing, and it just didn't feel authentic for me. I think that like what we don't realize is that there's going to be someone who creates all these blogs out there, and then all of a sudden, like Google, which is of course the main search engine, is going to figure out the AI algorithm and start like sandboxing a lot of people's sites, and they're going to say, "I don't know what just happened." AI is powerful. It's a very strong thing right now too. I don't know. I mean, AI. I think realtors are funny because like Zillow, for example, like is like the worst thing for real estate, but realtors feed into Zillow. Realtors are like the type of people where it's like they always look in short term. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to give Zillow $100,000, but I'm getting leads. But they don't realize that Zillow is trying to kill realtors. And so I've never understood that. I mean, people feed into that mechanism all the time. So with AI, it's probably going to be no different. I think there's going to be a million realtors who are looking at the short term and they're going to jump into it. And then at the end of the day, if AI comes around and kills real estate, they're going to say like, oh my God, how can this happen? I mean, they're reaping the benefits of it now, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like, AI took their job and they're gonna be like, oh man, I can't believe they did that. It's like, well, you kind of like
Fed the
helped them
machine
do this. So,
to overcome you. Yeah. Gave it all the insight.
oh yeah, gave it all the insight. You're using all their stuff. And then they're like, well, we don't really need you. And you're like, wait, what? Hold on there. Hold on. So I think realtors, and I think it's probably with any industry, I think we feed into stuff that can basically end up kind of destroying our industry. For me, like I said, I think unless they create like some max headroom that comes out to do videos, hopefully like, my stuff will be a little bit more like future proofed because the live thing is just tough. You know what I mean? I don't know if AI has gotten there yet. Maybe they have, but for me, I just like to keep it as authentic and steer away from as much of that stuff as possible. Because I think like in the future, the creative curve, you need to be very, very creative and very, very authentic. So much so that AI can't duplicate what you're doing to basically probably keep existing in the realm of real estate and mortgages.
I tried to use AI to write me a script to even start off this podcast. I got it and I was like, that's just absolutely not me. And I tried to force it in and it just didn't feel right at all. So I think
I
especially
know.
in making connection with other people, it's still got a long ways to go. Maybe it just needs to download more of our information first and then it'll steal it. But for now, it can't talk for us. So I think we'll probably be
No,
content.
but like I said, I mean, like that's the thing. This is like it's gonna compound. It's just gonna go, 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 go. It's gonna be interesting to see how everything works with AI. But I think the realtor right now, realtors who are saying, "Oh, AI, do this," they're just not smart. They're just looking at the short term, and they're just not looking at the long term benefit, the long term on this stuff. I think realtors are kind of like, "Oh, check, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah." They're just not really seeing the implications of this going forward. So, I don't know.
Feel
For me,
like
I don't.
amassing your personal brand and being able to pull back has allowed you to pull away from like chasing that next deal and trying to do that because you built this ecosystem of people that know, like, and trust you. So you're like,
Yeah.
you don't have a fear anymore of like, where's it going to come from next?
I mean, here's the thing for me. I mean, in videos, here's another thing. Well, two things I'll tell people who are starting a video. One is don't do 5 videos and expect there to be tons of leads. I mean, you got to go for at least 6 months in videos before you even crack the nut in videos. I don't care who tells you this. I don't care what mentor service you're signed up for. It just doesn't work that way. People
So
look
I'm
for a
not
back
getting rich
catalog
after this first podcast, is what you're saying?
or not, but you do about 50 of them. And then they'll start looking. Because here's the thing people assume they see a video and they're going to call the person. No, 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 that's not how it works. They see a video, they watch the video, they might like the video. But then if your back catalog isn't there and they can't go through your videos and see more of what your videos are, they're going to just think that you're out there for leads, which you are. So the idea is you need to kind of create a lot of back catalog. Like you have to have a back catalog so people know that you're kind of like you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
It adds a little bit to the authenticity. It adds a little bit to like the okay, this person's not just throwing out a couple of videos. So like the back catalog is something you have to invest a lot of time in. Like you have to kind of just make it a priority for our content. Like for your podcast, like you have to be like, I got 50 videos already queued up. They're ready to go. And just kind of like do that, because you're not going to realize the idea. You're thinking like, people think in YouTube terms like, oh, a person watched the video and that's it. No. If they watch a video and they like a video, they're going to want more of your videos. And if they don't see that you're doing more videos, they're not going to be happy and they're going to go somewhere else. How many times have you seen a video on YouTube and you say to yourself, oh my God, that's awesome. Let me see what other videos they got. You know what I mean? So totally. So the back catalog is huge. So that's another thing for realtors. Understand that, like, even if you do 6 amazing videos, these are just the greatest videos in the world. People are going to look at it and say, a channel with 6 videos, I ain't going there. It just is the way it is.
It just popped in my head too. I mean, if someone makes 6 really good videos and then all of a sudden they stop, like you run into this good video, it was a year ago, let's say, they might think that you're completely out of the business and have stopped selling because you just stopped posting videos. Like if
yeah,
they haven't started to develop and then all of a sudden you disappear, they're going to think of, like, what happened? Are they okay? Are they gone?
That's Or it's just like, they just did this for a cheap marketing thing when the market was down and now they're gone. So
they're too busy, which also
pretty
is
much
not a good thing for them to like put on display. So
for me, it just shows a lack of work ethic, a lot of kind of an ADD type thing, where they're like, I'm going to do YouTube. Wait, I'm going to do Instagram. Wait, I'm doing LinkedIn. Wait, I'm going to door knock. Wait, I'm going to do phone calls. I mean, I don't know. There's enough of that in the world. I mean, consistency, and you really want that person to be in charge of finding you your like home.
Yeah. Your biggest purchase ever.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, you're my client. I totally forgot about you. I was working with that guy over
there. For you, what's going on in your life? Kind of what's the direction of your channel taking? Like, what are you kind of working on now?
Well, we got a ton of referrals for Lake Tahoe last year. And so I want to do a channel that like basically showcases like vacation homes and places in real estate in Tahoe, because we've gotten so many people who are interested in Tahoe. So kind of linking up with a few realtors over there. As far as our content, we want to launch another channel that's just short content, because a lot of people like the short content. And just kind of, the team's growing. I got like 7 people on the team right now. Wow. And they're all video hungry, video friendly. And so it's going to be fun. I mean, like, I wake up every morning and I'm excited. I love doing like this podcast with you. I love the idea of going to shoot more content. I love the idea of showing people that not only putting a sign up and putting it on the MLS, but like there's other ways to showcase a house. So I'm excited about everything that this video idea of integrating with real estate has to offer. I love it. I think it's great. And I think we're going in a great direction.
That's cool. It sounds like you're just focused on content now. It kind of helps. It creates
content
an atmosphere for you where you can meet more people and help them achieve homeownership or get the house they want or whatever lifestyle they're wishing to achieve. And you get to just enjoy creating and telling a story and making more friends along the way with everybody watching.
Well, the funny thing about content as well too, when we do so much content, it's not even funny. The funniest thing about content is it also keeps you very informed about the market. So it's like one of those Karate Kid things where like we're doing content and then all of a sudden someone will call me up and go, hey, do you know Taylor Morrison's building in Folsom Ranch? I'm like, oh yeah, they are. These are the models. These are the prices. This is and I'm like, huh. Because we just filmed a video over there a day ago. So like all this stuff is in my head. So it does make you, you're out there and you're like learning about the area. And I don't care if you've lived here your entire life. I mean, Sacramento is developing, growing new communities, parks, schools, the whole 9 yards. Unless you're out there every single day, the landscape is changing. I mean, so it really helps us to film content and to also figure out what are the new things that are going on in Sacramento. And we can translate that very well to our clients.
That's cool. It sounds like it's forced you to have your finger on the pulse constantly. You don't really have a choice otherwise.
Oh yeah. And also I get people all the time say, hey, can you film this? Can you do this? Can you do this? So it's like, okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's have fun. Totally. And I can't wait to see more of your episodes on this thing. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to commit to doing 1 a week. That's gonna be the goal here moving forward. So we really appreciate having you on here to really kick everything off, get some tips and tricks, and learn from someone that's, I would say, mastered it. I don't know if you would put those words out there, but I would say you've kind of mastered the content grind and putting yourself out there and telling your story.
It's like the whole like gunfighter mentality, right? Like I'm doing good, right? But there's gonna be someone younger, someone more doing other stuff and everything too. It's going to kind of hopefully push my game up even further. And for me, it's like progress, not perfection. I look at my stuff and then I see some other guy doing something in Beverly Hills, and I'm like, ooh, man. So it's just always like that. And you can't stay stagnant or complacent. You have to kind of say to yourself, like, you always want to go more. It's like going to the gym. You know what I mean? You know how it is at the gym. It's like you're lifting a certain amount of weight. Once you get used to that weight and you haven't moved a while, it's like you kind of get bored. You kind of get like, it's okay. So for me, I'm always striving to do better stuff. I want to do tours from a helicopter. I want to do tours on a boat. I want to do so much other stuff. It's gonna be a fun ride for anyone who subscribes to this channel, which you all should.
Sounds like Tahoe is going to be a great place for that too, to go on boat rides and helicopter rides. That'll be a lot of fun.
I know. I'll bring you out there so you and Michael can go run around and do stuff, and I can film it. Because at that point, I'll be like holding my back, going, "Oh, wait up." But it's fun, man.
Thank you so much for coming on here today. Kind of just let the people know where they can get a hold of you, where they can watch your channel, and we'll say goodbye after.
All right. All you got to do is go to YouTube and type in Sacramento Real Estate or Sacramento Realtor, and you'll probably find my channel. And guys, if you guys are thinking about jumping into content, give me a call. I always like to help people to jump into this game. It's fun. It will change your business. I promise you that.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. This is the finale or the end of the first Agent Advantage podcast. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.